Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, hey folks, I'm Platter series videos I've been doing for the while. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I'm returning to Jimmy John's for this one. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, it's super simple format, folks. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items, in this case of the sub sandwich variety. So I got a few things I have to mention before I get to my review. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. Whilst I'm inside my truck, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I like to highlight a super cool shirt. Super cool shirt am I wearing today? Boom! It's the Patrick Swayze movie Steel Dawn shirt. That's Patrick Swayze. What with the beard and such. Oh, I love this movie. Yeah, I found this movie years ago on a movie channel. I couldn't remember it for the longest time. I was eventually able to find it by looking up a specific line from the movie, because near the end of the movie, there's this dialogue between the main villain and like the main mercenary that he hires to take on Patrick Swayze. And the main villain guy's like, "You don't think much of me, do you? Smarm, smarm, smarm." And the mercenary guy, who's a total badass, he just comes back with it, and he's just like, it's like, "You flatter yourself, man. I don't think anything of you." And it was like, oh damn, just burning him. And I love that line so much, it stuck with me forever. Eventually I was able to track down the movie. I like this movie a lot. I personally think that it's underrated. It was recently, I believe just earlier this year in 2023, or late last year in 2022, they actually came out with it on fucking Blu-ray. I own a DVD copy that has a bunch of special features, and I own a Blu-ray copy that has some special features. Anyway, I fucking love this movie. But anyway, what are we reviewing? What are we doing? Well, folks, we're going to be reviewing something from, boom, Jimmy John's, which is a sub sandwich chain. That, like I said, requires a little explanation because, folks, for over half a year now, I've been going on sub sandwich adventures, okay, doing chain locations, Italian delis, gas stations. I've run the gamut. You know, pretty much any place I can get a sub sandwich from, I'm trying them out. That's what I'm doing. Second thing to note, I have an entire playlist of all my sub sandwich adventures called Subs for Subs. That is where all my sub sandwich reviews goes. In case you're interested, that's where they're at. Very final thing, folks. Sunday is sub day because every Sunday is the day that I go over there and I upload my sub sandwich reviews. Usually you get 2 of them, sometimes 3, occasionally 1, but it's almost always 2. So if you are interested in my sub sandwich opinions, wait till Sunday, you'll get even more of them. But anyway, we are reviewing something from Jimmy John's. I have reviewed a few things from Jimmy John's. I have not typically held them in the greatest esteem, but I mentioned this in one of my previous reviews. I don't even know if it's uploaded yet. But I did mention that one of the things I hadn't tried from Jimmy John's was a roast beef sub. So, this particular is their number 10, which is the Hunter's Club, which is a double roast beef and cheese, which is the cheese is provolone. And it comes with lettuce, tomato, and mayo. And it cost me $8.29 for a regular size sub, which is what you're looking at right here. So, not too bad price-wise. I'm going to open it up now. I do also have to mention, this was probably my best experience I've ever had at Jimmy John's. The person behind the counter was super cool. She actually gave me props for my shirt. And they used to have the motto, freaky fast, freaky good. I don't know if they still do or not. Terms of quickness, this is the fastest I've ever gotten a sub sandwich. I sat down, and like less than a minute later, they're like, "Here's your sandwiches." And I was like, "Oh shit." So let's take a look at the sandwich. And you all know I love a fucking roast beef, so if they fuck this up, it'll be a bad time for everybody. You ready for this? You better be, because boom, here it is. It's a sub sandwich. So, okay. Can we, yeah, okay, sure. I will say I wish they would have cut it into 2 pieces. That would have been helpful. But, this is pretty much, I mean, they can call it a Hunter's Club or whatever they want. For the most part, this is pretty much a classic roast beef sub sandwich. You got your roast beef, your provolone, lettuce, tomato, mayo, you know, optional, what have you. On your French bread. let's see how it is, folks. Start from this end, because it's the one closest to my mouth right now. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. Maybe a little pedestrian, if I'm honest, but not terrible. One thing that I will say about Jimmy John's that I really feel always lets me down with them, unfortunately, the bread. The bread isn't bad. I do want to emphasize that. But the problem is that, basically every major sub chain, not only do they offer a variety of different breads, which I don't know, maybe Jimmy John's does, but I've never had anybody ask me what type of bread I want. So I'm guessing that they don't. But maybe they do. If they do, I apologize. But like their standard French bread that they use, it's just very unremarkable. And good bread helps make a great sandwich. And, when like I said, when you have lots of these places that are offering up like multigrain and, Parmesan Asiago and all this stuff, I feel like with Jimmy John's, for me personally, either they need to up the quality of their French bread and do like a proper French bread so that you got that nice crispiness on the outside, then you got the nice softness on the inside. Because, it's not bad, but it's like, I don't know, maybe it could be toasted or something, just to give it a little bit more character, because I do feel like it lets down their sandwiches. It's definitely, for me, I think it's been consistently the weakest part of my Jimmy John's experience. But as for the rest of the sandwich, it's a roast beef sub sandwich. Part of the reason why I wanted to try one from Jimmy John's is because it's kind of an easy sandwich. Kind of an easy sandwich to get right and hard to fuck up. I've had it happen though, don't get me wrong. But if you go over there, you got good ingredients, put it together, there's no reason why it can't shine. This, I don't know if I go as far as to say that it shines, but it's tasty. Is it going to go on my mantle of best tasting roast beef subs? No. Like I said, it does feel a little bit pedestrian for like a proper sandwich place. But the ingredients are fresh. The roast beef tastes decent. Provolone, of course, works well with it. I don't usually get tomatoes with a roast beef sub, but I do actually like them in here. I think it helps kind of elevate it a little bit again from that somewhat pedestrian kind of flavor. It gives it that little extra oomph that with the mayo, I think kind of helped carry it through a little bit. It's not a bad sub. But nor is it a great sub. I feel like with Jimmy John's, it really is just a thing where with just a little bit extra effort, they could actually be pretty standout. Because, like, they use decent enough ingredients and stuff, but like I said, I feel like the bread really lets them down. And, well, the roast beef is pretty okay for what it is. It could be better, for sure. I feel like with roast beef, it really does warrant putting that extra effort in. Because it needs to really highlight the whole sandwich. But, 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? No, kind of. The fundamental problem I have is that I can get better roast beef sub sandwich at numerous locations where I'm at. And being that the roast beef is a very special sandwich to me, I love it a lot, I would go to one of those before I would get another one at Jimmy John's. Now, that said, if I were at a Jimmy John's and, you know, for whatever reason that was the particular option I was going with and I wasn't just doing a review, would I potentially get it again? Maybe. Because it's not bad. It's like overall the sandwich was decent enough. It just, like I said, it lacked. Excuse me. I feel like it lacked personality. It lacked that specialness that a really good roast beef sub will give you. As for recommending it, though, if you're going to Jimmy John's, and I haven't tried their whole menu, obviously, but, you know, I'm working through it a little bit at a time. It's not a bad option. It's better than some of the other ones that I've had, like their Cubano. I was not impressed with that. Their Italian sub, I personally felt was pretty lackluster. This one, I think, plays better to their strengths because it's a very simple sub, and it's like, again, it's hard to fuck it up. And they didn't fuck it up. Let me emphasize that. They didn't fuck it up. Still a good sandwich. Was tasty enough. Just didn't have that X factor, you know? Just didn't quite go over there and make the hurdle for me. But anyway, 5 things before I get out of here, folks. Have yourself a great rest of your day. Spectacular rest of your week. Monumental rest of month. Stupendous rest of your year, folks. You go over there and have yourselves a truly roast beef-tastic rest of your life, because roast beef is just fantastic. I mean, you know, and now to be fair, maybe, you know, you're not into roast beef, or maybe you're a vegetarian or vegan, what have you. Hey, you know, pick whatever you want. I don't care. Asparagus. I like asparagus. Asparagus is good. Makes your pee smell funny. But apparently only to certain people, which is a weird evolutionary thing. Like, at some point in the course of humanity or our, you know, ancestor species or whatever, some point there was a divergent point where it was just like, one side of us get to smell weird asparagus pee, and the other ones were like, nay, for the next millions of years, we're not dicking with that. Fair enough. I don't blame them. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do can't do all the time. I know I can't do all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks know it's the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole, especially when you're over there. You're in a hot car, or you're reviewing sandwiches. I mean, you know, it's not a bad way to do things, but man, oh man, it's not a great way to do things either. I can't wait for fall to come back around. But even when we run into those situations, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing, whatever the thing is for you. That's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you're going to go over there, maybe you're going to try yourself out some Jimmy John's, right? And maybe you're going to go over there and maybe you're going to look up one of their secret menu items, and it's like this combination with this and this and this and this, and it will create the penultimate Jimmy John's sub. And you go over there and you hit me up in the comments section, you're like, dude, you got to try this sub, it's the best one ever. You got to speak to Frank about it. He's the only one who knows how to do it properly, and he's only there like every other Tuesday. But trust me. So I go over there and I make the track, talk to Frank, give him the secret code and the hand symbol and everything like that. He goes over there and makes the penultimate Jimmy John's sub, and I'm over there and I'm trying it out. I'm like, you know what? This is pretty good. This is pretty good. Still not as good as Jersey Mike's, and there's a Jersey Mike's right across the street from the Jimmy John's. I'm going to go to Jersey Mike's. Bye.